Picture this. You're sitting in your wheelchair for maybe a half hour. You slide forward, readjust. Before you know it, you've slid forward again. Get readjusted again. Maybe you're leaning to one side, maybe you rest on one elbow too heavily. And guess what? You're dealing with pain that these positions cause you over time. And I want to say something to you directly. This is not just how it should be. This is not just how wheelchairs are. And this shouldn't be how your life is. Most of the time, these issues are signs that something in your wheelchair isn't working well for you. It often comes down to fit. It's not just a byproduct of being in a chair. These symptoms can often be reduced, even significantly, by having a chair that fits you the way it should and supports you the way it should. Now, for this next series of 12 videos, we're going to cover a broad swath of the most common issues that people experience sitting in a wheelchair. I want this to be a framework for patients, therapists, and even ATPs watching to diagnose and troubleshoot when you or your patients have problems sitting in a wheelchair. Today's video, 5 signs that your wheelchair may not be fitting you the way it should, so you can stop guessing and start asking better questions about what to change. But before we get into that, my name is KJ. I'm an ATP SMS. Been that for over 10 years. Welcome to my channel, Adaptive Solutions. The purpose of this channel and my mission in life is to raise the standard in seating and mobility. Wheelchair users, their caregivers, and their therapists deserve high quality, reliable information at no cost to them. No guesswork, no passing the buck onto someone else who is supposed to be the specialist. I want to put this information into your hands so that you can be the person who feels confident bringing these issues up and bringing them to the table. So 5 signs. Let's get into it. Sign number 1, you slide forward constantly in your wheelchair. All day, you can't stop it. You push yourself back, you slide again. You push yourself back, you slide again. All day. And here's what a lot of people do. They assume it's just them. They assume this is just what happens in wheelchairs. It's a bad habit. Some parents blame their kids, telling them they need to sit up straight or, roll your shoulders back. Honestly, that's not fair. And it's not usually accurate about what the problem is either. Sliding forward is almost never a willpower problem in a custom wheelchair. It's usually a setup problem. The most common contributors can be seat depth, foot support, the material or structure of the cushion underneath them, where the seatbelt is placed, something about the backrest setup is making it uncomfortable. These things all work together, or sometimes they don't work together, to cause this problem, and that's usually where the answer lives. If you're sliding forward every single day, every 30 minutes, every hour, you're having to readjust, that's your chair telling you something, and you actually need to listen to what it's saying. Sign number 2, you lean. You lean way over to one side, the same side all the time, maybe the left, maybe right. Maybe you've become accustomed to that and you don't notice it anymore just because you lean a little bit more every day. Here's what I want you to understand about leaning. It is rarely just a habit. It's usually your body responding to a lack of support in your setup. Maybe a cushion that isn't supporting you appropriately. Maybe your pelvis has a fixed obliquity and you need to have a cushion that accommodates for that, meaning it's higher on one side. Or your trunk just isn't getting the lateral support that it needs. And this matters well beyond how it looks. Leaning puts uneven pressure on your body over time. That's how you end up with pain on your shoulder, pain through your ischial tuberosity, kind of like your sit bones. That's how you can end up with pressure wounds, is by localizing the pressure to a smaller amount of surface area. So leaning on just one side is going to be a problem. You may even end up with shoulder breakdown or eventually a severe scoliosis, maybe skin breakdown on the side, on the part of your skin where your ribs are. There's very little area to load pressure in that sensitive part of your body. If you're leaning consistently to one side, your setup deserves a real look. Because what people who don't use wheelchairs every day don't understand is that you may be sitting for 8 to 10 hours a day. To put that in perspective for us able bodied people, that's like driving from Los Angeles to Las Vegas and back every single day of your life. And so even small issues compound very, very easily. All right, number four, your feet keep coming off the footplate. Maybe your legs are splayed out to the side or your thighs are like hiked up so there's no real contact between your thighs and the cushion underneath you. And this is one that gets easily dismissed and missed by the person fitting the chair. You might hear things like, "Oh, that's just your tone or the spasticity," or wheelchairs are just not that good at supporting feet. They're just not going to sit in the right place all the time. And sometimes those are a factor. Tone, spasticity, other individual factors really can be true on an individual basis. But footplate setup is often a direct contributor and it's adjustable. Here's why it matters beyond just the feet. Your foot support connects directly to your pelvis, and your pelvis is the foundation of your posture in a wheelchair. In any chair, really, but we're talking about custom wheelchairs here on this channel. Your feet not being grounded or your legs and your knees being hiked up off the cushion directly affect your posture. And vice versa. When your pelvis isn't stable, everything else below that is going to be affected. And so it's one of those things that looks small, but it is an indicator that there is something wrong with the positioning in your wheelchair. If your feet and legs aren't staying where they should be, that's a good sign to double click and take a closer look at what in your wheelchair is causing that. All right, sign number 4, pain. And we can add stiffness there as well. Back pain, shoulder pain, hip pain, pressure sores, pain that builds up throughout the day and feels relieved once you get out of the chair. And I want to say something clearly here, and I mean it. Pain is not just the cost of being in a wheelchair. Pain is information. Your body is telling you something, and your setup is creating a problem. Now, I have to be responsible about topics like this, and any information I give you in these videos, I'm not able to tell you specifically what's causing your specific pain in this video. You, the person watching this, without evaluating you, I don't know what your individual issue is. Some pain needs medical attention first. If you have pressure wounds, if you have sharp pain, skin breakdown, you need to contact your clinical team for those. Don't wait. What we're talking about here is pain that builds up from the minute you get into your chair and goes away when you get out. That pattern almost always connects back to how the wheelchair is fitting you, how it's supporting your body throughout the day and through the tasks that you need to accomplish. Pain tied to your wheelchair is worth investigating. Please don't just live with it. Sign number 5, fatigue. You're tired, not just in relation to the activities you did, but just from being in your chair. This one can be sneaky because fatigue has a lot of causes and it's easy to attribute it to other things. But when someone tells me they have to get out of their wheelchair by midday and they haven't done anything particularly demanding, it's a very good idea to look at their wheelchair setup and ask what about this is not supporting their body in the way it should. Think about it like this. When your body is constantly working to hold itself upright, compensating for a cushion that doesn't support you, backrest that doesn't help you get thoracic lumbar extension, armrests at the wrong height, whatever it is in your wheelchair that isn't supporting you well, adjusting for foot plates that aren't leaving your feet properly loading weight, trying to stay in position in a chair that keeps letting you slide out. All of that costs energy, real energy that you are spending all day long, 8 to 10 hours a day. Sometimes, and some people spend even more than that per day in their chair every single day of your life. A well-fit wheelchair should feel like support, not a daily struggle. And if you're fighting your chair just to get through the day, something in that setup deserves a closer look. All right, so the 5 signs: sliding, leaning, your feet coming off the foot plates, pain, stiffness, and fatigue. Any of those on their own are worth paying attention to. If you get more than one, your chair is speaking to you pretty loudly, and you should start noticing and listening. Start naming what you experience. Write it down on a list, because when you can describe your problems clearly to others, your seating team can actually help you so much more effectively. For the therapist watching, these are the patterns and signs that your patients are living with and oftentimes not reporting. This series is designed to help them find the right language to bring it to you and to help you feel more confident in identifying that these issues need to be addressed in the first place. If you want to go deeper on your specific situation, I do offer one-on-one wheelchair troubleshooting consults. We go through your setup, symptoms, your history, and I can help you identify what may be going wrong with your chair so that you can bring it to your clinical team in your area to have it addressed. You can email me info at getadaptivesolutions.com, spelled the way it shows up on the screen. Ask me some questions, send me some pictures, and I'll get back to you. I'll see you in the next video. Thank you so much for your time and your attention.